Hey guys, I hope you had a good Christmas. Hope you had a good New Year. Hope you got some good quality time with the family, with the friends, got some good eats, and got some good treats. So today's episode of Beyond the Board is about the man, the myth, the legend, the man who took one of Rodney Mullen's tricks and put his own twist on it. The Raleigh style dark side. You're watching Beyond the Board. Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of Beyond the Board. I'm your host, Danny Carter. Like I said, I hope y'all had a good Christmas and New Year's. Today's episode, I'm super excited to talk about Geoff Rowley, one of the most gnarliest, hardcore guys that leaves it all out there, street skaters. In fact, the man earned the nickname back in the day when he first got to America, the one-man English invasion. So a little bit about Geoff before we start really diving in is Geoff. He first got his start skateboarding back in his hometown of Liverpool. Just like how I talked about my first board in the first episode, his very first board was a GNS. And then later on, as he started picking up notoriety, he got flowed by Deathbox, and also got his first shoe sponsor, Airwalk, which Geoff picking up so much steam over there, it led to Geoff visiting in America. He would frequent here in the States more and more. He was hitting up spots, iconic spots from the video parts. And then also, when you start getting here into this community, in the skate community, you're going to run into people, from other brands. It's just bound to happen, especially when you're a young and up and coming pro. And turned out he happened to run into Toy Machine owner Ed Templeton, which, he started hanging around with Ed. And next thing you know, skating with Ed, just like how skating, when Muska met up with Ed and Jamie, skating with Ed with, Geoff, that got him really going. That got him motivated. And that's what really helped catapult Geoff's career, into him being one of the most influential, most gnarliest, rawest street skaters you'll ever meet today. Now, some might think, or some might ask, well, what's Deathbox? Well, Deathbox, like I said, it was Geoff's first sponsor, but that would eventually turn into Flip, which we all know Flip Skateboards today, Louis Lopez and that team. But I'm going to be talking, like I said, we're going to dig more into not only just Geoff during the golden era of Flip, during the golden era of skateboarding, but also, we'll talk briefly about some of his other teammates too. So Geoff finally made the move to come here to America. He came here with his teammates, Tom Penny and Rune Glifberg and Andy Scott. Well, so Geoff started picking up steam. Like I said before, Geoff was on Airwalk. Geoff didn't like the direction Airwalk was going, rightfully so. If you're a pro and you got a shoe, you have every right to determine, how your career's. Do you like the product? Are you going to stand by the products? And Geoff didn't. And next thing you know, he started buying some Vans, liked how they felt. And people noticed, and Geoff became a pro on Vans. So when Geoff got on Vans, it was a little bit before he got, his shoes. Geoff actually has a lot of Vans shoes. He's got the Shams, the Stripes, the Solos, the Raleigh Slims, the XLT, XLT2, XLT3, and all the other variations of the XLT. But in my opinion, and I think if you ask a lot of skateboarders from the golden era, one of the more iconic skateboard shoes of all time is what you see right here. And that's Geoff's very first pro model, the Vans Rowley Pro. Now, just a little bit about the Rowley Pro. So the original version, I think this is the later on generation where they kind of slimmed down the collar and the tongue and actually made it more of a U shape to where it would protect your laces. Actually, let me grab the Motorhead edition here because this is the original cut. More padding around the collar, more tongue. The toe cap is shorter. But if you've watched his episode of Nine Club, he, would dig deep into, when he first got the creation, start creating this. And, if you know anything about Geoff, is the dude loves total total control over his created content, or either be his graphics or his shoes, which I absolutely love, because when you're putting on a Raleigh Pro, you know that you're putting on a shoe that Geoff, fully designed, not just, well, okay, well, this is what I want it to look, go, and then, okay, well, I'm happy with the final product. No. Geoff fully designed it. In fact, he wanted the big, the Vans stripe, and, back in the day, they're like, oh, we don't know if it's going to sell. Well, put it this way, that shoe sold, it sold like hotcakes, man. I mean, I remember when my best friend and I, Tim, we were skating. It was like, I think it was 2000, actually it was 2003. It was right before I was graduating high school. So we needed some new shoes. Tim was definitely a Vans skater. He always used to skate the TNTs. Well, he bought a pair of the Rowley Pros. He actually bought these, the blue ones. And I bought a pair of gunmetal gray and black Chet Thomas 4s. And he skated them a few times. And he's like, I really don't like them. Do you want them? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. So, if you know me and know my collection, I'm not really too big on the vulcanized Vans look, but this shoe I will definitely make an exception for. It skated really, really, really well. And on top of that, I guess the original version had a little more bulk. I loved how it felt. It skated great. And speaking of the Geoff Rowley Pro, this past year was actually the 20th anniversary of Geoff getting his first shoe. So, like any good pro, they would reissue the shoe. And this right here, this was one of the reissues. Like I said, I'll do some close-up shots of the shoe. But this colorway was one of the 20th anniversary reissues. I actually picked this up when the wife and I were in Florida. We were in there for a wedding, and I went to the skate park in Tampa, and I had to have it. It was such a clean looking shoe. On top of that, it was a reissue, and I remember actually messaging Geoff on my other Instagram account, my personal one, asking him, is this going to happen? And he kept kind of teasing, yeah, it's probably going to happen, and he started teasing on Instagram, and I'm not gonna lie, I lost my shit because I was like, holy crap! One of the Vans that I not only do I think some people may not say it's a top 10. Me personally, it's probably one of my top 10 all time favorite shoes. But I think if you got a general consensus, we could definitely throw it in the top 20 bracket of all time skateboard shoes. So yeah, this. I picked it up. I absolutely love it. And when I get cleared from my surgery, I'm actually going to be skating. I've got a rotation of shoes that I actually will skate through. And this red one, which was actually the blue colorway and the Motorhead edition, were some of the very first few colorways that came out of the shoe. So with Geoff picking up steam of, developing his own shoe, Geoff got introduced to the Tony Hawk roster, which then led to 2, 3, 4 Underground. Geoff had a lot of iconic boards. Just to name a few, he had I don't know if it was Magic Cat, Mystic Cat. It was a bright blue with a smiley cat. Almost kind of looked like a Cheshire cat. He also had the dude with the beer belly, kind of like a tie-dye background a little bit. Dude was drunk. And then one of my favorites, which I've seen go once or twice on eBay, was the Geoff Rowley. It was yellow with black lettering, and it looked like a DeWalt. It looked like a DeWalt logo. And that was, I think it's like the Geoff Rowley Industrial Board. So that like I said, those were some of my favorite boards. And then of course, as you see right here, the Geoff Rowley Motorhead decks, which we'll dive into that later on, because I personally want to thank Geoff for introducing me to Motorhead. I've been playing guitar since I was in 6th grade. I bought a bass. Wife got a bass for me last year for my birthday. I've always wanted to learn bass, especially because Lemmy was such a raw dude. But we'll get talking about that later on. So. Like I said, Geoff gets a shoe. Geoff, he gets on the game. And then right here, I have Geoff's OG Pro setup. So you can see right here, this is a Geoff Rowley. Actually, the correct pronunciation is Geoff Rowley. So I'm sorry, Geoff, for saying that wrong. So it's the Geoff Rowley OG setup. So this is a Rowley flip deck. Rowley Richter wheels. I think they're about 50 or 51s. And some Fury trucks, as you can see here. You don't see too many shirts around anymore with this logo because, well, you really can't find them. A friend of mine, Nicole, who I used to work with at Doc's, she actually made this up for me. Thank you. It's awesome to have a throwback shirt like this. And then, of course, you know, he has been riding for Vans for, you know, well, now it'll be 21 years. But yeah, this is the OG Raleigh setup. And then, so I want to kind of dive into some of Jeff's video parts. You know, he had, you know, right away, you know, when the video parts really start coming out, sorry, really sorry, extremely sorry, you know, that team was heavy hitting, you know, on top of Geoff Rowley, you know, you actually had Rune Glifberg, who the dude can fucking rip on a half pipe. You know, Arto Sari, Mark Appleyard, Bashan Salbanzi, Ali Bulala, and one of the realest OGs around, Tom Penny, who the dude can skate street, the dude can skate ramp. It's ridiculous. But yeah, like I said, you know, sorry. I just want to highlight one or two tricks from each one that, you know, in each video. So one of the tricks that really catches my eye on the first sorry video is when, you know, Hurricanes rail. Now, the Hurricane grind, you didn't really see often that then, you know, the Hurricane, you would see a pro throw it every now and then. It was actually a move on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 with Chad Muska. And then, of course, you know, another trick is the infamous El Toro handset where he just board slides that thing, rides off smooth. And probably one of the most notorious, most infamous, in fact, they put a statue up for this trick, was the 50-50 down right by the Staples Center. It was at the LA Convention Center. I think I was reading somewhere it took him about 6 or 7 tries to do this. That took a lot of balls to do that because, you know, just seeing the pictures, I haven't been there personally, but seeing the pictures, it's just a massive stair set. And if you miss that hubba, you're going to go diving and it's not going to end up pretty for you. So he nailed it on the, like I said, I think it was about 6 or 7 tries, but you can always YouTube just, you know, Geoff Rowley, Staples Center, and you'll see the 50-50, which it got him a Vans ad. You know, and on top, like I said, it got him a statue, you know, 20 years later and whatnot. But so we'll move to you know, a couple tricks in. Really sorry is, you know, if you watch a lot of Jeff's footage, you notice that he likes to skate a lot of drainage ditches, which, Jeff, if you ever go to El Paso, Texas, that is your paradise. You know, I used to live by that area and go skate that area, and there is a lot of quality drainage ditches. You know, Jeff, in his really sorry part, he opens up. So it's a bridge with a gap in the fence and then just this massive bank going down. And, you know, he pops it, rides down, and I thought I heard him say to the photographer, that is super sketchy. He never wants to do that again. And then in Really Sorry, you see him, and I forgot what the trick was, but you see him skating a Arto Sari Zombie Child deck. So if you're not too familiar with the Zombie Child series, Flip reissued them with their current team. I think they kind of changed the name. For the most part, they kept the graphics the same, but they put, you know, a modern twist on it. Well, it was blue with, kind of looked like a Frankenstein. It was Arto Sari's. And there's a funny story about that deck. So just as I was getting these from my best friend Tim, we went to the local skate shop. We went to Jarek's, and we actually both picked up. We each picked up a Zombie Child deck. He got the blue Arto Sari, which was a 7.75, and right next to it was Geoff Rowley Zombie Child. It was red with kind of looked like a cat with some bad hair, you know, long hair and just big ears. That was a 7.5. Now, I've never skated a 7.5 before. I actually liked skating that. I think I snapped that right at the beginning year of my freshman year of college. But yeah, the Zombie Child series was a pretty cool series. If you can get a hold of one, I would definitely recommend it. It's definitely good wall art. And if you really want to get brave, go ahead and take the cellophane off that bad boy and skate it. And then another trick I want to point out to you is the backside 50-50. There's a triple set. I think it was, because I know he 50s a couple triple sets on rails and hubbas. But Like I said, the dude, Geoff was just raw. He's quoted saying sometimes it takes a few good slams to really, get it clicking in you. And, sometimes not just pros, but us regular skaters, we just got to learn the hard way. It's just like, all right, what am I doing wrong? What am I, how am I landing? And just stuff like that. That sometimes, like I said, gotta get on the horse, gotta keep getting back on that horse until you get it. And then Flip's other big video was Extremely Sorry. Now Flip had a few additions to the team in 2009. The firm folded, and two of the big names, Lance Mountain and Bob Burnquist, they got moved to the team because I think it was still under Blitz distribution at a time, which Blitz had like Birdhouse, Rick Duff, Fury, Flip, the firm. So it just kind of made it easy to stay within the same distribution center, just riding the new graphic, a new team. But just again, a few tricks that I like to point on. The reason why I'm pointing out tricks is because, like, say those of you who watch it are not really too familiar with either one of these videos. I encourage you not just to watch it for history wise, but I know there's a lot of really good content out there today with today's skateboarders, but sometimes just seeing something from the past, from the golden era, from someone who's so raw could just give you that extra motivation just to go out there and have a really good session. So, one trick, like I said, Geoff likes to skate drainage ditches. So he does I think it's a 180 nose blunt. I think it's a nose blunt stall, or he nose blunts the drainage ditch. But, like I said, now these days in the world of Instagram and Facebook and, social media, you see kids posting every day. But during that time, you weren't seeing all your everyday pros because, some of these drainage ditches you look and it's super sketch, and Geoff didn't really give a damn. And then also Geoff was notorious for jumping roofs, the roof gap, going from a higher to a lower. And then there's some loading crate gaps that he does going from a higher to a lower. In fact, one of his sequence of tricks in Extremely Sorry was he does a 360. Backside 360 ollies. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I'm talking about a different trick. So he 360 shove-its a roof gap. So think about it. You think about the science behind it of, all right, you're going from something higher to something lower. So that does make it a little bit easier as far as landing wise. But if you hit something on that approach, or you don't get the right speed or the good pop and you catch that back truck as you're coming down, it could either be you get hurt or, it's going to end up really bad where you're in the hospital, you're at a body, because it's just, watching skaters, especially watching Geoff then, that took a lot of balls, a lot of courage, a lot of whatever word you want to use to just do that. And he did. In fact, I think it was the Tony Hawk Pro Skater, I think it was 4, where he goes into a school at night and he screws in some plywood so that way he has a smoother landing, because obviously, he did he scooped it out, said, oh, this is kind of super sketch. And so he did his homework and like, screw it out. He got some, sheet of plywood, and I think he was saying, he might get 1 or 2 shots before the cops get called on him, but, he ended up doing it. So as he's filming Extremely Sorry, I might be wrong about this, but he skates a mini pipe in the woods. And if you guys have watched Volcom's Chichikov, that was Rowley's part. Him and Tom Penny, and I forgot who the other pro was, but that's all they did was skated in. It was a cool ass setup. My mini pipe, woods out in the. It was definitely a different vibe. It was cool, but it was definitely a different vibe. To set up your park, because a lot of guys, you're doing it in a skate park, you're doing it out in the streets, but building an actual mini ramp in the wilderness outside the box, I liked it. And because of Chichikov, it was really Chichikov, Geoff's video of Chichikov, and then also it was Geoff's Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 part that really got me introduced to Motorhead. I heard Ace of Spades and I was like, holy crap, this song, it just really gets you in the mood to just come firing out of the cannon and just go hard, go fast, and just skate, 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 so I got curious. I'm like, all right, Motorhead, these guys are pretty raw. And that's when I start digging in. And because of Geoff, I have been a longtime Motorhead fan since then. I play, some of their stuff on my guitar. More or less, it's the bass, just because Lemmy is a freaking god. There's no denying that. But going back to Chichikov, so like I said, there's a lake, mini ramp in the woods. He's, like I say, he's skating with Penny. And then, so to me, this really showcased the Volcom Chichikov part really showcased the versatility of Geoff Rowley. You see him in all of his flip parts, the latest Vans video, which, man, if you haven't watched that, Geoff is in his early 40s and he's still skating like he's in his 20s, just going fast, going hard. In fact, his first opening montage was him trying to board slide down a hubba, and he catches it about, I'd say, 2/3 of the way, and you just see him eat it. And I'm just like, oof, that looks like a really, really bad hit. But, Chichikov really, it definitely showcased that Geoff can rip on a mini pipe. Geoff can rip in the streets, and the same thing with Tom Penny. Like I said, if you know anything about Penny, the dude the dude's just a legend. He's an icon in the community. And no matter what terrain you throw at him, he's going to skate him. So, but I just want to segue back to Motorhead. Like I said, Geoff, not only did he introduce me to Motorhead, but, Geoff became really good friends with Lemmy, who, if you don't know, Ian Lemmy Kilmister, the lead singer / bassist for Motorhead. His music kind of encompasses a lot of what skateboarding is all about. Is just, screw the popularity. Let's go fast. Let's go loose. It'll just overall raw and just really get you in the mood. So, like I said, Geoff did some collabs with Motorhead. Like I said, this is the first generation of the Rowley Pro Motorhead. Now, he did a few different colorways with this. He did like a black and white with the white vulcanized. There's the all black right here with the Motorhead writing. There's also he did, I think it was a tan or like a beige shoe with Vans with his Pro model. And then aside from his shoes, Geoff had 4 decks. I'm very fortunate to have 2 out of the 4. In fact, this deck right here was on the cover of Transworld in the early 2000s, and I think it was Rune Glifberg skating a half pipe with it. I think he was doing like a fakey kickflip or something. But yeah, I've seen all these boards, and I've seen the 4 versions. And they all got the War Pig, just different variations. I think there's one and it's just black and white, and that's the only one that doesn't have his name on it. I know obviously these 2 do, and there's another one that is black and white, but it's got red writing, and that's got his name on it. But yeah, like I said, I was very fortunate to have these in the collection. So in 2012, shockwaves were sent throughout the community of skateboarding. I think I read it on Transworld's Instagram. No, it was Transworld Facebook that Geoff announced his decision to leave from Flip. And nothing lasts forever in the skate community, believe me. I love seeing guys that got their breaks stay with the companies forever, like how Cab has been with Vans and been with Powell. Obviously, Tony Hawk, Birdhouse, he would never leave his own brainchild. But, skateboarding at the end of the day, it's a business. And if you don't like the way the company's going, you got to do what you feel is best. And was I a little bummed out that Geoff did that? Yeah, just because it was, all I knew, and on top of that, just the video parts, the video games, and just the memorable graphics. I was synonymous with Rowley and Flip, but he did his own thing for a while, and I think it was early last year, or maybe it was late 2017. Either way, he was teasing a brand, and I was very curious, and then he finally released it to the world, Freedom. And I'm very curious. I definitely do want to pick up a Freedom board to skate it, and then if I could also get one for the wall. Why? Because it's a Legends company, of course. I'm gonna want one for the wall. He advertises it on his own page. Freedom's got a website, so I'm excited to see what his brain trust does, what he does with his brand. If it's anything like the shoes, it's going to be nothing but not only a good product, but I'm hoping he puts together a really solid team. I would like to see a bunch of young and up and coming British skaters, just because, the one man English invasion, he got his starts in Liverpool. I mean, Geoff, at the end of the day, you're going to do what you're going to want to do with your company. And whatever, I'll support it. I'll plug it. I have no problem. But it'd be cool to see, the circle complete itself of, Geoff picking up some amps from Liverpool and be like, all right, I had Deathbox help me get to where I am today. Let me do the same for you. It would just be super cool to see, like I said, that just go completely full circle and complete itself. So, anywho, so I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Like I said, this Geoff, one of my favorites of all time. Definitely, not just the graphics, the video parts, the shoes, but just his overall skating style. It's like if I could have even a 16th amount of his talent and his will to skate, I would be super stoked. Which that's going to be my own uphill battle. That'll probably be for a different later episode, post ACL surgery recovery, which I actually get the clearance next week. So I'm super stoked to just get back on a board, not do anything crazy, but just learn the basics. Anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. There's, like I said, if you any sort of feedback, you can comment on the video. You can hit us up at Beyond the Board 26. Instagram page, and there's also Beyond the Board Facebook page. Give us a like, a comment, shoot me a message, and then there's Beyond the Board 26 at gmail.com. And there's also my personal Instagram, which you can find me on there at OG_Border99. And of course, there's my Facebook. And also would just again like to thank our show sponsor, Jerix. There's gonna be a show taping there probably within the near future. I would say the next 2, maybe 3 episodes. So I'm excited to take the show on the road to the show sponsor. Thanks Thomas for letting me use the shop whenever I want. I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm thinking about it also. I got a thumbs up from my homie Geoff, who owns Asylum Skate Park up at Lake Bluff. So I'm gonna go north of the city, take the show on the road. And then I'm hoping to, take it to, other shops, other skateboarding venues. And maybe we might do some live streaming, live content at the Jerix competitions this summer. And if there's other competitions that maybe I can go to and do some live streaming and live content, I'm super geeked for it. So anyways, thanks for watching. Stay tuned and have a good one.